Gary, let's start by talking about the officials. We've had a word or two to say about those this season so far. We'll start with Sheffield Wednesday, because we only spoke to you straight after the match, after Sheffield Wednesday. An obvious problem with linesmen and referees, the on-pitch referee getting it, a bit of communication error. Do you still see the referees as perhaps looking at you as a small club, or maybe erring on the side of the bigger clubs as they come through?
I don't know. I hope not. I've never said that in any of my. Referee makes a decision and he stands or falls by that decision. I don't for 1 minute feel that any referee's biased necessarily, but there are some that make more wrong decisions than right, and that's the nature of the game, if you like. But we seem to have been unlucky in that we've had over the last 2 or 3 weeks some real close decisions that could have gone our way. Let's say even if they were 50-50, you'd expect half of them, if you like. But we haven't been getting them, and but I certainly see it more as in my opinion, a misjudgment.
There's really not too many complaints you can have about the scoreline on Tuesday. Obviously, it's disappointing to lose, but were Ipswich the better team on the night?
Well, we should have had a penalty in the second half.
I heard Byron Webster on the commentary getting pretty excited.
Well,
about
exactly.
That.
I mean, this is what annoys you a little bit. To go back to your first question, was that, and I like that Darren Deadman. I think he's a good referee. But you say to Liam Davis, who got brought down, was it a penalty? And he said, Gaffer, he brought me down. And when I asked the referee, he said he slipped. He slipped in front of me. Well, surely that's the same. Otherwise, we're going to get people in the penalty area slipping and diving and tripping people up and then making out they slipped. So that for me wasn't an argument to not give a penalty. But anyway, I think on the day, Ipswich probably did a little bit more than us, as you would expect anyway, at Portman Road. But some of our boys didn't quite turn up on the day. They didn't do enough. We got the goal, which was a fantastic goal. But we're looking for us to compete at this level more often and get more goals and to get more play, if you like. And we have been getting that in the last few weeks. We've been given as good as we got as far as percentage of keeping possession is concerned. But up at Ipswich, we didn't quite do enough to get the ball back quickly, to keep possession when we went forward, to go and win battles all over the field. We've done all right, but I'm not going to lie to anyone, and I'm not going to. When we played well, I say we played well, but up at Ipswich, we was just short of where we should be.
What have you got to say to the 150 odd fans who made the trip on a Tuesday night, 3-hour drive up to Ipswich and a 3-hour drive back?
Well, what I would say is that we always mention in the team meetings before the game, during the game, after the game, that these people, we were all right. We went up the day before and was in a 5-star hotel with steaks, etc., and obviously someone to drive us. Whereas the supporters have got to make their own way up on the day, 6 hours on the day. So we do appreciate them, but to be fair, they're not going to see us, play like Barcelona every week, and.
Every other week would be fine, though.
Well, and every other week they've seen that. To be honest, they saw a great game up at Sheffield Wednesday. They've seen some good games. Obviously at Millwall is one. They've seen some good games here at Hewish Park. You can't win them all, and obviously the better teams will win more. But we're in this division as a new group, a new team, new group. No one's expecting us to do well, but us. And so we're going to give as much as we've got. From what I'm hearing, most supporters are pretty happy with the way we're playing. We just need to score a few more goals, and that sometimes is a bit harder at every level that you move up. And we just got to get strikers in form, midfielders in form to have better shots, centre halves in form to get on the end of crosses or corners or whatever it is. So everybody's got to be a part of scoring goals for us, but it'll come definitely, because we are new and we are inexperienced, and the more experience we get, the better we'll be.
Let's stop looking back then. Let's take a look at what's coming up this weekend against QPR, arguably the biggest team in the division, certainly with the budget that they've got. Harry Redknapp as manager. First of all, team news, any injuries that we should be aware of, anything that the fans won't have seen?
Who's the ref? Not that I'm worried about it. No, it's no, team news is of course we've had 2 games in a short space of time, so we're going to have little knocks that we've got to wait to the last minute. QPR had their game last night home to Brighton, which obviously they drew, but they went top of the league. So Harry's got 30 Premiership players to choose from. Good luck to them, and obviously we haven't. So we've got to judge it, but the 11 I put out there have got to make sure that we don't see the best of QPR. We've got to make sure that we play a strong game and we play a committed game and a technical game as well. Because if you give teams like them the ball often enough, they're going to hurt you. So we've got to make sure that we're assured in our play as well as passionate.
From what I was listening to on Tuesday night on the commentary, it sounded like Hennessy had a really good game, made a couple of really important saves. His loan must be coming to an end now. How do you look back on his time here? And the second question is, how's Steck doing? Is he going to be back by the time Hennessy heads back to Wolves?
I think Marek's probably got 2 or 3 weeks to go before he gets he's absolutely ready. Wayne Hennessy will be talking to Wolves this week. He will be and we will be, because we'll hope to keep him for another month. I've been really happy with Chris Dunn, who's come in and done a job and as our second goalie. So we're happy with him. But we still need 2 experienced keepers. So if we can keep Wayne, then it's good for Wayne, good for us, good for everybody, because while we're waiting for Marek to come back.
QPR, like I mentioned earlier on, managed by Harry Redknapp, who of course took Spurs to the brink of Champions League football. Was it a season and a bit ago now? Ever had any dealings with Harry? Ever met him? Do you know him?
When Gary met Harry, eh?
Yep.
I've met him a couple of times, and he's a nice fella. He's a decent fella, and he's done all there is to do in football. He's been at the lower levels. He's worked his way up to the higher levels, and
back down again to
division. Well, of course. Well, if you've been around as long as Harry has, then that's going to happen sometimes. But he's been there and he's done it, and he's got the T-shirt, as it were, and his teams always seem to respect him, and that's a massive thing, because if you're not in the game as long as he's been in it, if you're not respected by players, because they soon suss out people that are not quite genuine, and he's decided to go into QPR, get rid of all the or get rid of certain players that he didn't think were conducive to going back to the Premiership, and he's got in a group of lads that he believes that are going to straight away get them back there with a little bit of work rate, a little bit of passion, and they look very solid at the moment. At this moment in time, they're just nicking games 1-0, and obviously they drew the other night 0-0, and not scoring loads of goals, although they've got the potential to score lots of goals. So we've got to make sure it's not against us.
Feels like this interview should be happening through the window of a 4x4 as you're driving out of the training ground in Harry Redknapp style.
Yeah.
Harry famously said once when he was manager of Spurs that his missus could have put away a shot that Darren Bent missed when he was about 6 yards out. So I want to put to you, who's your missus better than in the world of football? Any players you can think of that perhaps you fancy your missus against? If you reckon you could score a goal?
She's better than all my strikers at the minute.
You'd rather put your missus up front than at the moment.
Well, she's Anyway, she'll be pleased with that. She'll be happy with that. But you do say things like that as a manager sometimes straight after a game, and he knows what to say, and I'm sure he said it with a smile on his face, or with a little glint in his eye, let's say. So as I did about my missus.
Although we should point out that Darren and Harry have since gone separate ways since they're...
Who's Darren and Harry?
Darren Bent and Harry Redknapp.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Separated in the...
Well, yeah, I'm sure Darren didn't take it as a joke, but I'm sure my strikers will.
Better sense of humour down here at Yeovil than at Spurs. It's pretty much the biggest against the smallest in the Championship. What do you think that Harry and his team are going to make of Hewish Park, because it's a long way from Loftus Road?
I think he'd have been here before, and he'd be experienced enough to say, it's not going to be as easy as you might think. I'm sure he'll say that. whether the players take that in is another thing, because many of them certainly wouldn't have been at Hewish Park. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. It's going to be a full house. Our supporters are going to expect our team to give everything, and also to be part of a really good championship game, which is what we've got to make sure that, you know, we play a big part, that we, as I said, turn up at the party sort of thing, and that can be awkward because you know, our fans can be very enthusiastic all round the ground, and 9,000 here. When they get behind us, it's like double that, because of, you know, it obviously looks full, and all right, there's not another tier like there is at QPR, but you only see the bottom tier anyway. So it's gonna sound very vocal support for us, and I'm sure Harry will be passing that on. But you know, if we stand back and let the QPR lads dictate the game and have a bit of time, then they're going to show you what good players they are.
You'd love to nick a win though, wouldn't you? You absolutely love that.
Well, I mean, that would be a fantastic result for our club, and be another little milestone. And the fact that QPR coming here top of the league, you know, what I'm proud about is I'm sure Harry's going to be telling his team that they're not going to be able to take us lightly, because if they've seen our last 2 or 3 performances, not necessarily the results, but the performances, I'm sure he'll be saying that you know, there's something in this team, and QPR are going to have to be careful.
Great. Just want to mention the apple you're holding. Is this there's not a Gary Johnson diet we're seeing?
Yeah,
is it?
It's a new regime and that, yeah. But I've just had a curry and fish and chips and that, and I just thought I'd finish it off with an apple.
Balance it out.
Balance it out, yeah.
Cheers,
All
Gary.
right, no problem.
Could it be the launch pad for the season?
A what?
A positive result on Saturday? Could be the...
Yeah, I think, look, listen, at this stage everybody's, you know, you're dreaming of a result against QPR, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? But we got to make our team believe that they can get a result. That's the first thing. But we're not the ones under pressure again. You know, we're not. If we get beat by QPR, it's what it is, sort of thing. And but you know, having said that, as I say, we got to go in it full of confidence. It's 11 versus 11. The lads that they've got have made a very, very good living out of this level and above. So they're very experienced. And whatever happens, we got to learn from the game anyway, win, lose or draw. But we're certainly going to try and have them wound up enough to give a good account of ourselves, and I think we will.